Alright, this is a part two of the part one that I did. I had got interrupted for a second. And I was reading, if you go back, I was reading Matthew's 14. I was reading Matthew's 14, 1 through 33 is what I'm reading now. I'll restart that, if you don't mind. At the time, Herod the Tetrarch heard the report about Jesus and said to his servants, "This is John the Baptist. He has risen from the dead, and therefore these powers are at work in him." For Herod had laid hold of John and bound him, and put him in prison for the sake of Herod, his brother Philip's wife, because John had said to him, "It is not lawful for you to have her." And although he wanted to put him to death, he feared multitude, because they counted him as a prophet. But when Herod's birthday was celebrated, the daughters of Herod's Herods danced before them and pleased Herod. Therefore he promised with an oath to give her whatever she might ask. So she having been prompted by her mother said, "Give me John the Baptist's head on a platter." And the king was sorry. Nevertheless, because of the oaths and because of those who sat with him, he commanded it to be given to her. So he sent and had John beheaded in prison, and his head was brought on a platter and given to the girl, and she brought it to her mother. Then she brought it. Then his disciples came and took away the body and buried it, and went and told Jesus. When Jesus heard it, he departed from there by boat to a deserted place by himself. But when the multitudes heard it, they followed him on foot from the cities. And when Jesus went out, he saw a great multitude, and he was moved with compassion for them, and healed their sick. When it was evening, his disciples came to him, saying, "This is a deserted place, and the hour is already late. Send the multitudes away, that they may go into the villages and buy themselves food." But Jesus told them, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." And they said to him, "We have here only 5 loaves and 2 fish." He said, "Bring them here to me." Then he commanded the multitudes to go to sit down on the grass. And he took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he blessed and broke and gave the loaves to the disciples, and the disciples gave to the multitudes. So they all ate and were filled, and they took up 12 baskets full of fragments that remained. Now those who had eaten were about 5,000 men, besides women and children. So, wow, 5,000 men. And that's not counting the women or the children. Okay. Immediately Jesus made his disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side, while he sent the multitudes away. When he had sent the multitudes away, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. Now when evening came, he was alone there, but the boat was now in the middle of the sea, tossed by the waves, for the wind was contrary. Now in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went to them walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, "It is a ghost." And they cried out for fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, "Be of good cheer. It is I. Do not be afraid." And Peter answered him and said, "Lord, if it is you, command me to go on the water. Command me to come to you on the water." He said, "Come." Jesus said, "Come." And when Peter had come down out of the boat, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw that the wind was boisterous, he was afraid and beginning to sink. He cried out, Lord, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched out stretched out his hand and caught him and said to him, Oh, you of little faith, why did you doubt? And when they got into the boat, the wind ceased. Then those who were in the boat came and worshipped him, saying, Truly, you are the Son of God. Okay, so what I want to bring to you is, no matter how, no matter how big the storm is, no matter what people it is, you still gonna have the same problems of other people, but you can't not relate. Same problems, can't relate. Um, when I was reading 14 verses 7, I think it was, when John the Baptist had his head chopped off, cut off, okay? One question is who it was. It was John the Baptist. Another question is, how is, okay, all right, let me restart that. John the Baptist is Jesus' second cousin, okay? Second cousin. John the Baptist is Jesus' second, second cousin. And he wasn't panicking, shouting, crying, or none of that. He had what's called faith. Faith. That's what he had. Jesus had faith. That's why he wasn't crying, panicking, being dramatic, and all that. He had faith. That's going to be the message of today. Have faith while going through different storms. One thing I learned in life is when you have little, God will give you a lot. Jesus gave thanks for the five loaves and two fish that he has. Get little, God will bring you more. Mind you, it's 5,000 people. That's not including the children or the wives. That's just 5,000 men. 5 loaves, two fish. 5,000 men, probably 10,000 people right there. And one loaf of bread, there's at least 25 pieces of bread. Times 5 is 5, 4, 54 50. Yeah, about 15. About 75, probably about 75 pieces of bread. And that's 10,000 people. That's a lot of people. And Jesus blessed it, and he got more than there was. His second cousin died. Everybody else panicking except for him. He has faith. When Jesus walking on water, if you don't believe me, don't believe me. But it's in the Bible. Matthew 14, 1 through 33. Jesus was walking on the problems that he had. That was the storm. The storm was the problems that Jesus had. I know some people in this world need to walk on the problems, hover over the problems that you have. You need to get through the problems that you have. That you need to have faith in the problems that you have. Thank you. You need to have faith in the problems that you have. There is many storms, not just somebody dying or family. It's many storms that it is in this world. It's a lot of people that have a lot of different storms that I cannot name at the time, but it's a lot of people. It's a lot of things. You have, I can name a lot. You have relationship storms, financial storms, death storms. You have the whole life storm. You have a lot of storms coming near you. You have different types of storms. You having a virus storm right now. You having viruses that the devil made, and some people still scared of. Okay, you scared of the devil. You have a God. You have a Lord. You have one master. You can never serve two masters at a time. You always have to have one master. You cannot have You cannot have two masters in the same atmosphere. That is not no. That is not going to be. You don't grab a comb and a brush at the same time and brush your hair or comb your hair at the same time. No, you use one. You only have one master in this world that you need to go, and that's God. That's the one master. No other masters. No. And Ten Commandments, and one of the commandments it says, uh, one of the commandments it said, don't put no other God before me. And one commitments. All that's been a number one rule since before Jesus. No, yeah, Jesus made that commandment. I'm tripping. I don't know what's going on, but always focus on God. Keep him in your eyesight. That's what Peter messed up on. He should have kept his eye focused on God, on Jesus. Actually, Jesus Christ. He should have kept his eye. That's a long. That is a theme, and that was a 10-second thing, and you got a lot out of that. A 10-second problem, you got a lot out of that. I'm having a whole message right now out of that 10-second situation. Keep your eye focused on Jesus Christ and never look down. He looked at the waters. He fell through the water. He saw he was scared. He looked at the problems that he faced, and that was his weakness. He should never look down. He should always look at Christ. Focus on Christ all the time. That's why I close my eyes. I see everything above me. When I have my eyes open, you see everything but Christ. And so you just close your eyes. You just look at a picture. Just look at him. That's what I do all the time. But always keep your eyes focused on Christ. Always. That's the main thing you should do. Eyes on Christ and the Lord. He will bring you a lot of good things in the world, but never take his blessing for granted. That's another thing. Never take his blessing for granted, because he will. Okay, so I just had this conversation. I'm gonna put it like this, because I don't want it to be deep and make you get scared of everything that you do. God will. Okay.